are live. Not live, but recording.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Fair
Hi,
enough.
Sabrina. How you doing?
I'm I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm decently tired. I went to bed pretty late last night, about like 12 or 1, and
And
it
then had to get up for
suffered
work.
it. Yeah, which I actually woke up 2 alarms early. Because usually I'll just like sleep through all my alarms up until uh 4:30, 4:30, 4:45, depending on whether or not I want to take a shower and go from there. But I woke up at 4 and got up at 4.
Oh,
And with that, I left on time, but also I left a bunch of stuff here. I left my AirPods for my music because then I'll listen to a podcast or music while I'm working, and it helps me maintain my sanity when customers don't know how to drive. I left my work phone, so luckily I have the main app I really need while I'm working. Luckily, is on my phone, but it's always good to have my work phone just in case. And my wallet, but luckily I have the Walmart app where I can pay through the Walmart app if I need to buy something.
I didn't know that was a thing now.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's called Walmart Pay.
Oh man, things have changed so much since I left Walmart. I still don't
Really?
miss it.
Oh,
The Walmart app probably isn't available in Canada anyway.
yeah, just. But yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what about your day? How did your day go? I know I said how was it,
Uh
but how did it go?
Interestingly similar but different. I didn't. I stayed up. Well, actually, it was weird. I slept like on and off a lot yesterday. I ended up going to sleep early, though my light was on again. Um, Woke up a bit, turned it off, went back to sleep, and woke up at like a semi decent time. I normally sleep in if I'm not working. I usually sleep until like 1 p.m., which is horrible. But I woke up at like 9, and then I was in and out of sleep. Like I came to my computer, did a few things, watched a few streamers that I usually miss because I'm usually either at work or sleeping. And then I'm like, I'll play some games on my phone. And I usually lie down on my bed when I'm playing my phone. Well, guess who falls asleep? It's not I wasted most of my day today, but I got some stuff done. Uh, like I got a lot of gaming.
Yeah. Isn't
Not a
it your
lot.
weekend too?
Yeah, it's my weekend right now. That's part of it.
See, so the first day you sleeping through it, it's not exactly a bad thing. I think everyone expects people to sleep their first day off.
I sleep all my days off. I sleep all my time off. It's just like I've been so much more exhausted lately, and I think a big part of it is one thing that drains a lot of my energy is certain mobile games because I like playing mobile games, but
Yeah.
mobile games are very because of the way they're structured, or at least some of them are structured. It's like you have the time, you have to like wait for the timer to go down and everything like that. And
Yes.
so I'm just sitting there waiting, and it's just like it's technically more exhausting than actually just doing something.
Yeah.
And so I need to quit this mobile game as soon as I can, but it's so hard because these games specifically are designed to take advantage of well, they're not designed intentionally, but like the way they're designed takes advantage of people who are neurodivergent like myself. And I actually managed, I'm very proud of myself. A few months ago I managed to kick one of the mobile games that I've been spending way too much money on. I'm like, no, this is bad, 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 kicked it. But then I started playing this game because I got sponsored by it.
Hey.
I didn't get anything for it because I didn't finish my sponsorship goals. But like I started playing it, and I'm like, oh no, this is a problem. Anyway, that way too much of a digression there. But yeah, I had the day off, but I'm tired anyway.
I feel you. Tomorrow's my Friday, and I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm drained. People don't realize how hard it is to push carts. And you think pushing carts, oh, that's such an easy job. To a point, yes. But the physical and mental toll it takes on you is what's difficult. Because one, carts are a lot heavier than you think. You push one cart and you're like, oh, this thing's light. No, you add like 9 to 10 carts on top of that one, and oh my goodness, it is heavy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
As a former cart pusher myself, I totally understand what you're talking about.
and then having people who don't know how to drive.
Well, you know what? It's worse. It's not the people who don't know how to drive, the people who know how to drive but choose not to do it properly. It's even worse.
Oh yeah. So Sabrina, do you remember how we met?
Funny thing, when we were talking the other day, I almost forgot, but then I realized it's like I first became like somewhat aware of you by being a fellow chatter in Bolt's. I think it was Boltorian, not Kiersey Catnip stream, but like
It was Bolt Stream.
it was Bolt stream. And so I saw you chatting there, and I chatted there. I'm just like, okay, so I was just aware of you as like a fellow person. I think it
Yeah.
did briefly come up that you streamed yourself, but that was like so I was aware of you at that point. First, actually, properly met you was when uh, I think Bolt had pinged that him and Kat were going to be doing a like basically a VC hangout
Yeah.
in one of their Discord servers, and they weren't going to join right away, but they were like, oh, "We'll be there in a bit." You joined immediately, and I'm like, "Hey, there's this Will person there. I'll join too," and started chatting with you. And I distinctly remember that at the time you had your camera on. I did eventually turn mine on too, and you were editing clips. I distinctly remember editing clips, and I
Yes.
remember you showed me a few of them, and you. I don't think Chia Pet was the first one you showed me. You eased me into it a little bit, but I did learn about Chia Pets that day.
Chia Pet was it is a very, very, very hilarious one. Which funny thing, that's the Chia Pet hoodie right there.
Yes, it is the Chia Pet hoodie.
I wore it to work today on accident. I thought it was uh my flash hoodie that I was wearing. And
Oh no.
I I get into the break room today. And what my one of my coworkers reminded me, it wasn't the best thing because it's imagine you need a chia pet for your butthole and a Walmart hat. How is that gonna look on Walmart? And like he made me look at it from that perspective and I was like, oh shit, you're right. And
Oh
so
no.
I get into the break room and I unzip my jacket because I put everything on while it was decently dark, so I wasn't really looking. I just know that both this hoodie and my flash hoodie are pretty thick hoodies. And so I unzip and I go, shit. No. So I luckily with the vest on, it covers over where it says butthole. And even butthole itself is just it's censored, but you can tell it says butthole. Luckily that's covered by the vest. So I was able to still wear the hoodie throughout the day, otherwise it would have been a very cold day. Um,
Mm.
but every time I went on break, I had my leather jacket on, which was too much for what I needed, but also it was too cold to go without it or just do my leather jacket. But it's just
Mm.
like shit. But I had the different hoodie on. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we met through Bolt stream and then Sabrina came and popped in my streams for a bit, and eventually one thing led to another, and Sabrina became my co-host.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like while I remember how we met, I don't remember exactly how or why we became such fast friends. It was just like some, I don't know. I guess I got a good impression from you that first time we were chatting in VC. I saw you in a VC again. I'm like, oh yeah, Will's pretty cool. Let's chat with him again. And then uh, I don't know. As you say, one thing led to another, and I ended up joining you
Yeah.
for as a co-host for one of your streams.
Yeah.
Uh,
because I was like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
no, that
Sabrina,
was
you want to like pop in VC with me and while I'm streaming?" And then we chat, and you were
yeah.
saying how you're sorry for talking so much, and I'm like, "Don't. It's content."
Yeah,
And
no, I,
so,
I, I remember. I mean, I still do this periodically. Just like nerding out about a random thing, or just going on a big old tangent. My my sis OA would be proud.
oh yeah, um, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say next. So a
Well,
lot of
yeah.
people on this channel know about who I am. I'll give a brief little thing. I am a content creator. I make YouTube videos. I make Twitch streams. It's 98% of the time it's gaming, and the other 2% are like IRL or podcasts. And
Mhm.
yeah, love a lot of stuff. There's a lot to go into.
I feel that. I feel that as well.
What about you, Sabrina? Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, as far as my online presence is concerned, I'm also, uh, even though it's not indicated from from my name tag, I am a big gamer as well. I spend most of my time, my free time, gaming, and I spend almost all of my streaming time gaming as well. I'm not set on any particular genres, though I do definitely have preferences. I like strategy games, I like RPGs, and visual novels, and various things. Regardless, so I spend a good most of my time is spent gaming, but the other amount of my time, now indicated by my name here, because I go by Pharmacy Sabrina, because I'm a pharmacy assistant. Um, Trying to go through school to become a pharmacy technician, but school is hard during the days of COVID. Um, and I'm just a big pharmacy nerd. Like I love learning about drugs, learning about medicine, and different things like that. And one of the things I always open people up to, this ironically happens a lot more when I'm in other people's streams than when I'm in my own stream. People will ask me questions about things, and I'll like obviously I say always talk to your own like medical professionals for better advice, but I can at least give you some basic information that I happen to know about, kind of thing, which I love being able to do. Um, yeah, and there's so much weird stuff or misconceptions and various other things about medicines that we don't really know, and I love talking about that. And yeah, that's about me.
I'll go on to the next topic of our on our list. So I have this story about
Hmm.
3 urinals, and
Okay.
this is uh mainly geared towards guys with urinals. Is men have this unspoken rule where you do not stand next to another person at a urinal, and it's mainly a school thing than than when you're an adult. And it's just something I've subconsciously done as an adult, where if there are only urinals available are next to someone, I'll just wait. And we were at a bar and there's 3 urinals, and a guy uses the middle one. So I just sit there, I'm
Oh
on my phone,
motherfucker. Oh the
and
mother.
then like the guy turns around, he's like, "You good?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just responding to a text." And I walk over there because I'm like, I'm not gonna be like, okay, I'm not gonna just stand here and be like, no, I just don't use urinals next to people, so I'm gonna go to using. He's like, yeah, it's just, it's a little sketchy. I'm at a bar and a guy's standing behind me in the bathroom after I've had alcohol. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that. I'm sorry, blah blah blah. And it's just, it reminds me of that unspoken rule of people or of men not standing next to each other in the bathroom. And it's stupid, and I don't know why it's become a habit.
Oh no, I totally get that. Even though I don't go into the men's room anymore, I'm a trans girl, so grew up assigned male at birth, and I do very much remember the urinal rules. And importantly, with the 3 urinals, if there are 3 open urinals in a row, left or right, never go for the center one.
Yeah.
You go for the center when there's no other. When you have all the choices open, you're an asshole. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Don't use the middle urinal needlessly. But as far as like the standing next to a person is concerned, if you have no other choice, it's okay to go ahead.
Oh
But
yeah.
you never do that when there are choices. So if
Yeah.
there's 3, one person's on the left, and you go to the middle, what the fuck is wrong with you? Holy shit, who
Yeah.
does that? And I've seen it happen where like I'm not going to be using the urinal. I just need to wash my hands. But I see like one guy already there, another guy goes in the middle, and the look the guy that's already there gives him, like I just see a look over and just like a look of like, what the fuck, man? Doesn't even say anything. Guy doesn't even notice that he's getting this
Yeah.
stink eye. But yeah, it's funny. Come on, camera, stop refocusing. There we go.
So
Doesn't
Sabrina,
like you
how
grabbing my stick.
yeah. So Sabrina, how do you like your toast?
Um, hmm. En français. I like French.
I like my toast just slightly golden brown, enough where there's a crunch, but it's not black. I got this idea from a podcast I watch called You Should Know Podcast. And I was listening to their podcast this morning and listening. And because today's Monday and they released it on Monday. So I was listening to it this morning and just the one dude, he said if the toast has a setting where it can go all the way up to 7. He has it 5.5 to 6, practically black.
Oh,
Because he'll have
oh,
because he'll have
oh,
other stuff like with it, like eggs and avocado and stuff.
doesn't
And it's
matter.
because it's specifically for the crunch. It's not there for the flavor. But if he's only going to have toast, then he'll have it on like 3 or 4. And like he just doesn't put butter on his toast. The other one's like I have it like out of 2.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
no.
I do somewhere between 2 and 3. Like it's got to be a nice light golden brown. You gotta have that scrape sound when you're putting on the butter.
I like it when, though, some toast a bit more. I like it. I sometimes like my toast when it's still there's like a tiny bit of softness. Like there's a softness in the center, but the the uh, the
Outside.
outside layer still has a bit of scrape to it.
Yeah,
Such that like when I bite into it, it's still like kind of moist too. Because
yeah,
one thing is when you're toasting, you're like the moisture that's inherent in there is going to start heating up. Normally, it'll evaporate away, but if you only toast it for a little bit, you're still in there. And I like it. I like it when there's like that little bit of it kind of. It's not a fresh bread taste, but it's kind of like a fresh bread
oh
taste
yeah,
in a way. Um, oh, fresh bread, freshly made bread, where it's doesn't even, it's hot not because it was toasted, because it's just that fucking fresh.
oh yeah. That's
That's
that's good.
fucking shit. I know we're off the topic of normal toast, but still.
I It's a
It,
podcast. We just talk.
so, recommendation for anyone out there, even if it's not a regular thing, if you can get some like fresh bread, like if either you can get a cheap bread maker, you can go to a bakery and get some straight out of the oven, with some good quality butter or margarine if you're for that. Like I know vegan persons wouldn't obviously be able to have butter. Margarine is fine too. Some good stuff on that, and let it that it's still soft, but the heat from just the freshly baked bread starts melting it. Taking a bite out of that. Mm,
Best
mm,
thing
mm,
ever.
mm.
You're making me want some fresh bread.
I'm
So
gonna see if I can. Mhm.
I did something irresponsible to then do something responsible. I cashed out $30 from my paycheck early because I needed to go buy stuff. Like I needed to go buy bike pumps so I can pump the tires in my bike so that way I can ride the bike to and from work. And I bought a couple snacks and some drinks like this one right here. And one of the snacks I bought was a 6 pack of Vienna sausages. I don't know what it's been lately, but I've been really enjoying Vienna sausages lately. Where like I could like put all 6 cans in a bowl and just start just eating Vienna sausages
I
because
understand that.
they're good. I
Hmm.
just it, it shouldn't be good, but it's good.
I mean, I don't do this anymore, but because I work with people and I don't live by myself, so I can't get away with this. But when I could, or when I didn't care, you know, what I love snacking on
Uh,
sardines. Like it wouldn't be like I'd put in the sardines or anything. I would just like get a can of sardines, like sardines and olive oil or something like that. Open up, take a fork.
just eat them.
I mean, the fish smell was horrid, and like when I was doing it, I mean, I did this at work once. I did this at work. Thankfully, I was a buggy boy, so like I'm outside anyway. But gosh, the work people in the lunchroom hated me.
Oh yeah, I bet. You know what's really good? Those little boxes of like the tuna salad and crackers.
Mm,
There
yes,
is no way that should be those things should be that good. I could sit and eat like 5 or 6 boxes of those.
lemon pepper tuna, like
The
tuna
lemon
scramble.
pepper
Yes,
one.
it's not the only one that's good, but it is one of the ones I distinctly remember as being one of my
The
favorites.
lemon pepper one's my favorite.
Um, yeah, I like the chili one sometimes. Like it's good, but I don't want it all the time. But the lemon
Yeah.
pepper, like I could go for that because that one's interesting enough. That one's a little bit drier than some of the other ones,
Yeah.
but not in a bad way. In a good way. In a good way, it's a bit drier. I mean, be nice if we get some of that lemon pepper wet. It's funny.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even
So,
watch what that was a reference from. I just knew about the reference.
so are there any upcoming events you're looking forward to coming up in your life?
Hmm. 3 different ways I can answer this question. So I am looking forward to getting my name changed, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
That works too. It's
No,
still
no.
an event.
It's something I was going to talk about. I just wanted to be
It's
events in
more
my
of any
life.
things you're looking forward to coming up soon.
Well, it's not soon, but I'm looking forward to June because Pride Month.
Yeah.
And what I hadn't known before, uh, so I unfortunately missed the Toronto Pride Parade last year. I slept in basically. But what I didn't know was that on a different day, they had a separate, specifically trans focused Pride Parade. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to that this coming year. I'm
Oh
looking
yeah.
forward to that one myself. I mean, I literally like like trans flag right there.
God, I love it. I don't know where I put it. I think it's on my bedside table on the other side of the bed. I have a I have a pride flag that I have. Yeah, I don't know where I have it at the moment. I have a pride flag that I got from my
I've
very
got
first pride parade.
like 5 red flags.
Yeah, it's just a little small one. The flag's about maybe that big.
Okay,
And
I've got if you're considering small ones, I've got a lot more.
yeah, I got that from
So
my very
I've
first
got
pride
like
parade.
I've got 5 full size ones like that. I've got a bunch of stickers. I've got a bunch of pins. Oh, I've got so many pins. Oh, actually, that reminded me. Ah, I haven't even worn this one yet anywhere, but I got this really cool pin from this independent seller who lives here in Toronto, oh, the other side of the city. Um, and so they're super local to me, and they make these really awesome hybrid pride pins.
Ooh.
So here's an example of it.
Ooh.
And so the way it is each piece is separate. So like when I take it off, like it's separate. So if, for example, this one here, as you saw, we've got the lesbian pride flag and the trans pride flag for reasons that are obvious.
Yeah.
But you can from their website, you can basically order any combination of like top half and bottom half. Talk about gay stuff and talk about tops and bottoms. But anyway, unintended joke. You can basically have any combination you want. And actually, recently created an option. I think they shape them a bit differently, or they organize them a bit differently. You can actually have like 3 of them in sequence, and still fits properly. But yeah, they've got a bunch of different options, and I actually got this one before they added a few more flag options because I did want an aromantic one as well. But honestly, I'm happy with my trans. Basically, it's my transvian flag. But like pin ace, not sponsored, but I fucking love them. Thank you for making so many cool pins, pride and not pride related. They got a few other. They got quite a few different cute and cool looking pin stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm always gonna
I
mm-hmm.
trying to figure out what all I'm. The events I'm looking forward to are coming up in a topic that's like coming up, so I'm not going to get into that. But other than that, I don't
Okay.
really know if I have anything I'm really. I mean, other than tax returns, I'm waiting to. I don't. I mean, luckily I use TurboTax, so doing my taxes is super easy. I just my stuff in, and it automatically fills it out. But I'm
Yep.
always looking forward to tax returns because I can make big purchases that I can't make on like a paycheck because I'm really bad at saving money. Like I'm planning on getting a better wheel. I'm going to buy a new TV and TV mount to get put in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
just that I'm February, March, and April are just the months that I'm always looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you say tax season is the time that you're looking forward to, and that's an uncommon
Yeah, everyone
sentiment. But
hates
I
doing
can appreciate that.
taxes. Everyone hates doing taxes,
Yeah.
but I love to get the money back because I get anywhere from like I get about 2 grand and something for
Oh wow.
that. Get back.
That's pretty good. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I've sometimes had that much back, but like the past tax return that I did, I got a decent amount back, but that's partially because had a lot of medical expenses that year, a lot of medical expenses, enough that I was able to claim it because, like, I think it's you can claim a certain amount and you get like 15% back if you
yeah,
reach a certain threshold. And I had like thousands of dollars in dental work because I have a lot of dental work that needed to be done.
yeah.
And then that was the time. It was during that year that half the year I didn't have drug coverage. My drugs were like 150 a month. So yeah, yeah. Had a lot of stuff. So I managed to get a decent return back there. But normally like it's in the thousands. Like I say like low $1,000 kind of thing.
Yeah. If you were to give a presentation, Sabrina, what would it be about?
Hmm. I like this question. So if I were to give a presentation, I think it would be different is if I were to give a presentation today, or if I were just to give a presentation that I want to give, if whether or not I'm prepared for it. A presentation that I would want to give, though I'm not fully prepared yet, would be about something I've talked about before, refer to the flag, um, being trans, but more specifically, being a trans healthcare worker. Um, I This is something I've actually imagined and thought about before when talking with my speech therapist, um, and imagining like where I want to be, what kind of like imagine it when it was an early action. It was a much earlier exercise in like just doing the like figure out where I want to be, what my goals are with voice and everything are, and what I had imagined myself was that I would be like at a conference. Um, so I'd be like wearing my scrubs, uh, with my hats. My Pride scrub hat, probably a trans specific one, and I'd be given a presentation, and the voice, because this is the point of the exercise, was that I would be imagining is I wouldn't have a voice that like that I was born with. I wouldn't have a voice that would be just masculine. But I don't want I didn't want a voice that was just feminine either. I want something that like I kind of want to be clocked. I want to be noted. I want people to realize it's like I'm not quite normal because nobody's normal. The idea of normal is
No, it
bullshit. But
is.
like I am, I am noticeably, audibly, visually trans, and that's what I want to be. And I would be given a presentation as being someone who's gender nonconforming, talking about that reality and working in medicine and being able to help out other gender nonconforming individuals. And it's actually part of the reason why it's important for me to be visibly trans. Is that like while I can always flag post by wearing my pride bracelets, which I do very much so, and that has been able to give a lot of people benefit. This fucking camera just can't handle my movement. Um, Even if that wasn't necessarily noticed or seen, I want people to realize, like, hey, this is a gender nonconforming person who's in this position where they know about the medicine, they care about it, and I can reasonably infer that they're not going to just judge me for who I am because they're like me too. That's
Yeah,
that's who I want to be. That's the position I want to be in. That's the kind of presentation I want to give. Talking about that patient outreach for this uniquely marginalized group. And I say uniquely, and it's important in this situation because for people who are, for trans people like us, though not all trans folk actually do take hormones, for those of us that do, we have to go to the pharmacy. We have to pick this up. We have to pick up our medicines. Otherwise, we're not getting the stuff that, at least in the case of that we want them, that we want.
yeah,
And if the people in charge of that aren't respectful or aren't receptive, don't understand, that's going to make that interaction a lot harder. So I want to be there making that easier for them. And I already know that that's helped. I've had some of my patients tell me that even though they've moved further away, they still continue to come to our pharmacy because they know they're treated with respect here.
yeah.
So that's that.
If I was to do a presentation, which I've done a presentation to like a teacher of mine who is a fan of the topic I was doing, um, as a lot of people may know, I'm a huge fan of the Flash and Arrow. Like here, I'm wearing my Arrow shirt that my mom got me for Christmas. I just did. I had did a presentation on just facts and information about the Flash, which is not updated to current times because I haven't done it since I was in my sophomore year of high school. Was it sophomore? Yeah, I want to say it was sophomore, maybe.
It's funny you say that. The idea of sophomore and like those words that you use for each year, we don't have that in Canada.
Oh no.
We just say grade number. That's
Oh
it.
no, no, it was freshman year.
So a freshman, I assume, is like first year high school, right? So that would
Yeah,
be like what we
nine
call ninth
nine
grade. We never say
freshman's
freshman.
ninth, sophomore is 10th, junior is 11th, and then senior is 12th.
Yep. Even though we're like on an ancillary basis aware of the terms because of American television, even knowing that, just none of us refer to it that way.
Yeah,
Uh, like including the way like I know some people like maybe seniors might be like, oh, those stupid freshmen, and like like whatever, we'd use the term to describe them as a collective. Well, we said like, so if we're talking about what you would have said freshmen, we would say Niners. That's what we called them, Niners.
Yeah,
Uh, and whatnot. And it's kind of funny how, in spite of how like culturally, because as much as there are plenty of Canadians who like to say otherwise, we are very, very, very much culturally similar, culturally related countries. Like the United States and Canada trade more than any other two countries, any other pair of countries in the world. Our economies are strongly tied to each other. Everything is strongly tied to each other. Our television. I mean, a big chunk of Hollywood is Canadian as
yeah,
well.
yeah. It takes place in Vancouver. Like the Flash and Arrow and all those
Yeah.
shows tied into that universe is all recorded in Vancouver.
And then we have Toronto as another big place for recording. And then a bunch of the talent is Canadian. Ryan Reynolds is like, as a really good example.
Oh yeah,
Jim Carrey, even though I'm not very happy with Jim Carrey right now, but like, in fact, about Jim Carrey, um, one of my old coworkers at a previous job apparently used to babysit. I think not not he himself, but I think like his nieces and nephews or something like that. Like there was some sort
that's
of like
cool.
like connection because again, he's from Canada. He's from this part of Canada as well. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of people, and then we have like the Bieber, unfortunately, Drake, even more unfortunately. Drake's from my fucking city, and I hate him. I hate it for it. Fucking hell. I'm sorry, world, that my city gave you Drake. I am sorry. I don't think
uh,
there's a single musician I hate more than Drake.
yeah, you
Hot
have
take
a
there.
huge passion for hating Drake.
Honestly, I wouldn't be this strongly against Drake if it wasn't for the fact that everyone keeps playing fucking Hotline Bling on the radio. Stop it! It's not a good song.
No, it is not. Although I will catch myself singing it if I'm listening to it.
I mean, that's part of the problem with the song. It's kind of like an earworm. Even if it's not good, it still gets in there. I would say 90%, at least 90% of my hate is the repetitiveness of Hotline Bling. And the other 10% is the fact that the song Hotline Bling is misogynistic trill.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I keep doing this. Every time this comes up, I keep doing this. I'm gonna stop.
Now there is a show. Well, it's shows and movies that I'm looking forward to coming up. That are coming up. Show wise, I am both excited and like don't want it to happen. But this final season of The Flash is premiering next month on the 8th. And I am absolutely, I can't wait for it, but also like I don't want it to happen because that means it's the beginning of the end. And I'm really looking forward to it because a bunch of we're getting some returning people, like a character that got killed off. Spoilers for anyone. Um, Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow, he died in a crossover event that we had, and he's coming back for the season, or for not the season finale, but he's coming back for the final season, as well as Diggle and a bunch of other characters. And I just the more and more I get updates on who's going to be in it, I'm like, I can't wait. And it's also like, no, I'm. It's going to be a very emotional season. I may cry because I cried when I watched the crossover and Oliver died. I think to this day I still cry to it if I were to rewatch it. It is definitely going to be a tearjerker for this final season. For movies, I am really looking forward to this Flash movie. Although Ezra Miller has been making some very poor decisions. Although he is seeking uh, professional help for the stuff he's been doing, but just
Mhm.
they should have just recast him because he's just all the legal trouble he's getting into. He just needs to not. Um,
Those
because
of us who aren't aware of exactly what's going on, loaded. Um, would you mind telling us what exactly has been going on with him?
um, if I remember right, there was this instance with the kid. I can't remember all too much.
Okay, maybe I don't want to know.
He's just getting into a lot of legal trouble. If you just look it up. I don't remember
Yeah,
full a lot of it off the top of my
you said
head.
it as soon as you said incident with the kid. I'm like, okay, I'm not interested anymore. Bye bye.
It's not anything sexual. It's
Even if it
just
isn't, that
his parents were like we're skeptical of this because it's an adult having a relationship with a kid, not like a relationship, like a friendship kind of
I know you mean.
relationship. And
And mm,
it's just look it up
okay.
because he's just doing some stupid shit and he needs to knock it off.
Well, then with this in mind, I kind of agree with you. Just recast him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is there anything you would like to talk about?
Well, let's see.
We've gotten through our list and we've hit the minimum.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to bring up, though I normally don't look forward to movies and shows and whatnot. Um, since you got me to start watching Wednesday, though I haven't watched much since that day, I am sort of looking forward to having the time and energy to sit down and watch more of it because I really was really getting into it. And I mean, Wednesday's character is very much the aesthetic I like.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I appreciate characters a lot younger than me. I'm not thinking in that regard, but it's just like I like. I've always appreciated Wednesday's aesthetic, like pre this, like even with like the Adams Family and everything like that. I mean, Adams Family was, uh, though Adams Family is definitely the original was before my time. There were it's been rebooted multiple times and rerun, and it was a part of my childhood, very much so. I think there was an animated series I watched. There was also like I think I watched reruns of the original Adams Family and the new Adams Family and whatever. But
Yeah.
seeing this like new take, like a very specifically modern, because it's taking place today,
Yeah.
like in the fiction of the world, it's taking place today, and seeing the character of Wednesday Adams kind of like implanted in a albeit very unusual school, but a school nonetheless in today where
Yeah.
people have cell phones and social media and stuff like that. I'm just like, huh.
They made numerous references to Instagram and Snapchat,
Mhm,
talking about Uber and Lyft.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
I
Yeah.
am happy because they confirmed and announced that there is going to be a season two.
Ah, yes, that's awesome. I'm so happy about that too.
And with that, with Jenna Ortega playing that character, she is very attractive, and I love her acting. And I was like, oh, what other stuff is she's in? And there's this clip. I'm not gonna talk about it because of what the line in it is. But I was like, oh, what's this show? She got really popular on the show. What is it? And I started watching it. It's called You, and I'm at season two. And I just heard that they're coming out season four. This show, I've never experienced what I experienced with the show. I get these moments where like the suspense builds up, which is something I like within shows is that it builds suspense, but it builds it to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to stop watching. Not like I'm watching too much that I need to stop. It's like I can't handle the pressure. I gotta stop right now and come back to this later. Or I'll just stop and then the next day I'll just come back to it. Because there's these moments where it's like oh, is he gonna get caught? I can't right now, and so I'll stop watching. And it is something I've dealt with. When I'm watching on lunch, I'll get those moments, and it's like, oh, I still got like a half hour of my lunch. I'll just pause for a second, regather myself, and watch some more.
Yeah.
It is definitely it is it's hard to explain. It definitely builds suspense. Well, if we don't have anything else to talk about, we could start ending. Um,
Hmm.
this is our first episode. We are going to try in 2 weeks to attempt a recording. And if it doesn't work, we'll just go monthly until we can get enough topics for each podcast to where we can start doing every 2 weeks. So we'll attempt for a recording in 2 weeks, but we may not have anything until next month. It all depends on how everything goes. But
I
nonetheless,
think we could probably manage though. But
yeah, it depends. Like this is like I started writing topics on the 28th, and it is currently the 9th of January. And most of the topics were put in today. So like, okay, we got 3 topics, and we're going to need like more than that for the podcast. And I don't know what Sabrina has planned for the podcast because she hasn't added anything yet. So I'm just gonna
yeah,
put a bunch
sorry
of
about
topics
that.
in. No, it's fine. I don't mind coming up with topics. It's just a matter of I want to make sure that I have a backup plan in case she doesn't have anything.
Hmm.
So I just think about anything and just start writing it down. That's kind of what I'm gonna start doing. Is if I think of a topic that I could start a conversation with, boom. Like,
You know, I'm gonna do the same thing as well. I've got a notebook that I use kind of for my. I would use predominantly for work, but I mean, I even like I'll write notes if I think of anything for my streaming purposes. As an example, um, one of the last notes I did, which was not work related, um, was to set up a command on Twitch for sensory overload. So occasionally, like, I'll get sensory overload while I'm playing, and I'll have to like take a bit of a break. And so I set up a command which is just like exclamation mark SO, which is basically an explanation to chat like what's going on. Just like
yeah,
I'm experiencing some sensory overload right now. Please bear with me, kind of thing,
yeah,
and whatnot.
yeah. Anyway, I'm not one to usually do this. I try not to do this, but if you guys would like, I like it. You'll like, subscribe in the comments. If you have some topics you would like us to discuss, please comment them. I get notifications for when people comment, and I try to get to every comment.
In fact, that's I would definitely echo that um, recommendation. So as I mentioned towards the beginning, but this is a reminder for people who don't recall, uh, I love talking about different things when people ask me questions about medicine or whatever. Obviously, as I say, always recommend you to talk to your professionals. But I mean, if you just have some curiosity questions or you want like some small information so you have a springboard, so you can maybe go to your professional with more information when you ask them questions. You'd be a little bit more pre-informed kind of thing. Please let us know. I am more than willing. Like
Yeah,
because if you comment it, it's not just going to be like I see the topic and I talk about it on the spot. I'll do some research ahead of time so I can answer the question properly. Um, so yeah, please, like the sooner you comment those kinds of things, and if there's something you comment on a previous video and I don't get the time to research, I will include in the following one. But
yeah,
I will do what I can to answer everyone's questions to like reasonable confidence. So yeah, absolutely. If you have medicine questions, I mean, we're calling this the Pills and Games podcast. We talk about games, we talk about random stuff every day, but I'm going to talk about pills too,
yeah.
and tablets and whatever. But you know what I mean?
Anything
Please,
related
please.
to pharmacy stuff, anything related to games, or just anything you would like us to like our point of view on it. Although we
Mhm.
I don't know about Sabrina, but I personally don't want to get too political because one, I'm not really a political person. I can maybe do a little research and maybe give my opinion on the matter, but I don't want to get too. I don't want this to become a political podcast because those just become too problematic.
I on the other hand love politics, but
Sabrina is very
but
political.
but I specifically love when it comes to talking politics. I like talking politics with other people who like talking politics. So Will doesn't like talking politics. I will not like talking politics on this podcast. So, but if you come to my stream or see me with other people on streams who do like talking politics, I'm more willing to engage there. Just not here.
Yeah, and I will have our social medias, our uh, Twitches, and the Sabrina. If you want, I can put your Twitter in there. We'll have our social stuff in there just so that way, if you guys want to see content outside of this podcast from us, Sabrina's in a lot of my streams. I occasionally will pop in there. Usually I pop in there and then I end up being really tired. So I'm not usually in the streams for very long. So I'll be like, okay,
We've both done that. We've done that
I'll
in
be
each
like,
other's
okay, I'm
stream.
too tired to stream, too tired to play games. Nothing really good I want to watch, or I don't really want to watch anything. Yeah, I'll go co-host with Sabrina for a bit.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel that. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, we are just under an hour, so I think we're gonna probably end it here. Thank you guys for tuning into the first episode of the Pills and Games podcast. We'll either see you in 2 weeks or we'll see you in a month. My name is Paul or Willie Gamer. We got Sabrina here, also known as Pharmacy Sabrina, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you all. See you around.